What's my name? Welcome to the What's My Name show. My name is Chemda, and normally I host the show, but today, along with three others in this series, Libby is going to be hosting because we're going to be doing what we're calling Reverse What's My Name, where normally I would interview a guest, but now, because of my wonderful tumor, we've been documenting the
process, the discovery, etc.
Right. So instead of asking me questions to myself, Libby is here. Thank you for being here.
No problem. Happy to do it.
We're thrilled.
Oh, yeah. These are so much fun. Whatever. All we do is talk for 3 hours and then we finally start the show and then we talk some more. So it's fine. As always, let's pick up where we left off. We have had an insane week, so it's hard for me to remember what day it is or what has actually happened since we last recorded. But luckily it was recorded. So
right. I always think there's not going to be much left to talk about until the major thing, which is the operation. And then we'll really, but no. The doctors keep it interesting.
Yes, they sure do. They mix it up. And actually, it's funny because before we recorded, so let's pick up where we left off. We recorded last Sunday and you had a doctor's appointment Monday. And part of me was thinking like, oh, I wonder if we should just wait until Monday because, we talked about the doctor's appointment and you're going to go to the doctor's appointment. Well, that ended up being a 2-hour episode, partly because we did kind of a two-parter, the first half with you and the second half with Hennessy. But yeah, there's always more info. So it's like we don't have a set recording schedule. It's just stuff keeps coming up.
It's great.
So speaking of last episode, you were in the other room for the second half, but you could hear it.
Yes.
So what did you think of Hennessy's part?
I thought we matched a lot. So I thought that was really good. I thought
it's like Match Game or whatever, where we send you into the other room.
Newlywed game.
Newlywed game. Yeah.
Perfect timing. We're newlyweds. I thought it was good. I learned a lot from that episode. I think that actually got me more ready for some stuff. It got me a little bit more on his side about some things. So I think that was really good for us to do. I thought it was very therapeutic.
Yeah, you guys said it was like a marriage counselor afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like,
it was great.
I don't know if that's a compliment.
Of course it is. Therapy's always good.
Okay. Well, that's good. So you did have a doctor's appointment then the next day.
Yes. Was this the one where I have to know how to breathe?
Yes. So this was, and we had talked about it. This was, we had gotten, so just to reiterate briefly, you had gotten the news secondhand through Hennessy. As of last recording, you had gotten the news that it was like self-contained and not cancerous and all that stuff. That news was all relayed through Hennessy. So then we recorded Sunday. Monday, you had an appointment with a doctor.
Yes.
Now, it was to test your lungs, specifically your like breathing capacity and things like that. Yeah. So we'll get into that. But also, did you get any more answers from them at that appointment? Or was that not really who you would ask those questions of? Because there's so many specialists that you have.
I kind of did because I know that I should stop being surprised, but everything trickles in. So the one before this, we were finding out everything about the heart. Okay. And I thought they also kind of know about the lung because they said it's definitely squeak. They could see it pushing my lung, but it looked like the capacity was fine, and so it wasn't such a big deal. But after we checked the capacity and we did like a very thorough, I forget what this test was called, where when they put it up on the wall, I could actually see where my organs are. Oh, wow. Like I could see individual organs. So it was a long process where I just had to sit there and they take pictures of my insides.
Okay. Some sort of scan.
Yeah. Okay. Like even more accurate than a CT and an MRI. And, all the words that I'm getting very familiar with. And so what we learned from there is, I thought we knew everything, but we learned a little more about how much my lungs are affected, how much I can really breathe, how much of my lungs are really being used. They still don't know 100%, but they can tell if it is attached to the lung. They can tell how much of the lung they possibly, like they said that this test is so accurate, they usually can tell how much of the lung they will need to be removed because of it.
Right. So, and do you want to go into that?
Yeah.
You want
to know how much?
Yeah.
It looks like 20%, rounded up, 19%.
Well, that's what when you said that part about like specifically, because you had said 19%, which is like, usually you might think, I don't know, half or, we're not sure, but like 19% is so specific.
They can see where it's touching and where it's like mostly affecting it. They just said, I'm sure that they have some leeway, and they said they absolutely have leeway. If they need to take out my whole lung, they absolutely just will. But the prediction is 19%.
Okay.
The problem is as accurately as they can see, they can't see tiny, microscopic, potentially cancerous, like, they're really, every test I take, you could see more and more in the insides of my body, which is really trippy and amazing. And I don't know if they're used to this. I imagine people just walking like zombies, but I'm laying on this thing. This machine that was taking pictures of my insides literally took up the entire room.
Oh,
I
wow.
laid down and it like right over me.
Oh, like it does it, like it scans you.
Yes, and then it goes. There's
it might be like I was gonna say an imaging machine, but I think I'm thinking of an MRI. Sorry.
But it is an imaging machine of sorts. Yeah, definitely. They're taking really accurate pictures, and it is imaging of the inside. And I forget what it's called. I'm so bummed. But there's like two sides of it. So one is they're like opposite each other, so they're surrounding me. And the entire test takes about 45 minutes, where the scan moves very slowly, like an inch takes a picture of that, an inch. Until it circles its entire way around you, you can't move. And just so it could be like the most accurate.
Okay, so I don't know if this is the name of it, but it sounds like a 3D imaging sort of thing. They have full body scans now that do like a 3D imaging. They don't do it like when they first came out, some people were like, oh, you should just scan your whole thing and see if there's anything there. But the reason they don't do that is because there can be a lot of like benign tumors, and they could, end up doing like a lot of unnecessary surgery. Oh, wow. Just kind of like rooting around for things like, what's that?
Right.
Which is why they usually wait till there's like some sort of symptoms.
Oh, there was a symptom.
Yeah.
And they very specifically were taking a picture of my torso.
Okay.
So if I wanted more, I would have to like sit there longer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I gotta say, the technician, super nice. She's like, do you want a blanket? The blanket was warmed. I was like, ooh. And then as the machine is going over me, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And they're like, I know, whatever. They're not smoking a cigarette, but they're just like, yeah, amazing. It's a machine. Yeah. This is all I learned.
So like you were saying, they're going to see, what needs to be done when they get in there. The prediction is 19% at most. Is that, or they're thinking like, we'll probably have to take 19%.
That's what it looks like.
Okay.
Is not going to be kept. Like it looks like.
Okay.
That
seems like say goodbye to the 19%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's start wrapping your mind around it. Okay. But also definitely, every time they say that, they're like, we also could take the whole lung.
Sure.
But people live on full lung. Like, once you told me like it could be cancer and chemo and all this stuff, I'm like, take my lung, take whatever I could still like, I'm fine. Everything's fine. I also did like regular normal breathing tests, like push out your air, and they're just, they're testing how much I could like literally breathe.
Right. That was pretty good, right? Didn't you have like 90%, or wasn't it like most of your function? What's
weird is 50% of some part of my lungs aren't working, 75 of another part. They were giving me a few different things. However, I am breathing at 90-something% capacity because I've left my airways open. I've exercised all my life. Like, that, and it sounds like, maybe that part of my body has genetics that are working out for me lung-wise, and the other part has a tumor.
So it's
my genetics are great.
Crapshoot.
Yeah. You get one, you lose one.
This is probably common knowledge for a lot of people, but I learned from Dr. Casey, my friend.
What's up, Casey? She's my new best friend.
That the reason she's
my remote doctor.
Yeah. That the reason they might want to take out or, that they can't stick to the 19% when they get in there is because they want good margins. So like if it seems like it's ambiguous whether they've gotten it all from that area or whatever, they'll just scoop out extra because that's usually safer than.
Yeah, I'm way into that.
I'm sure I'm butchering the description, but basically like
in one of their descriptions, they mentioned some of that, like because there's such minor things that can just kind of find their way.
Yeah.
Hey, take out, 20%. It's like you're cutting like moldy bread.
Exactly.
You don't cut at the mold.
Right. Yeah.
Does everybody get it now? I'm bread.
It's exactly like that. So speaking of inanimate objects that are inside of you, we have heard so far
This is getting sexy.
We've heard so far that it's as big as a grapefruit, as big as a bowling ball.
I didn't take those pictures.
Oh, we have to get these pictures.
No.
So, and these so far have been Hennessy like naming it, but it does come from, hand sizes. The doctors are saying it's this big, that's about a softball, grapefruit. And now then it was this big, which is
bowling ball and then a football.
Right. So
it actually is 11 centimeters.
Okay.
Whatever that means, sports wise to you.
I was getting to the latest that they've actually said is that it's like the shape and size of a football.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's the doctors said that.
Yeah, they definitely mentioned football.
Okay.
And when they mention football, they try to hide how astounded they are, but they cannot. These people should never play poker with me.
That is so scary that they're just like, I mean, how are, I know we've talked about how you should be super confident because you really do like have the best care. And also people are like wanting to get in on this case because it's so rare. And these, they love this stuff. Like this is like special. A medical, you're like a medical
wonder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's all good, but also fix your face.
You know what? Let me just clear this up just to make sure. These people are wonderful and their face is as fixed as a human could be. I usually can see through a lot of things. So I don't we call it not fair. And we actually, me and Hennessy call it not fair because we could do it to each other. And that's not really fair because if I could see what you're feeling before, but that's like as close as to your face as not feeling anything. We're reading too much. I could read you, I think, more than your average person. It's not fair. Other people, it's like you really need to learn a little bit more. But my main doctors and the main people I'm dealing with, I got to give them credit. Like, it's scary shit, so they're saying scary shit. And so they're taking it seriously and whatever. But for what I've experienced before with fucking people's bedside manner, they're angels.
And I know you've had a lot of different experiences with different, levels from, nurse to orderly to doctor, et cetera. But we haven't talked about that much. Like, so do you have your primary care physician who's not really, I mean, they're not a surgeon, so they're not like the person heading this up.
The RN?
Yeah, that's who you go to for your primary care?
No, I have a primary care person that I've only seen a few months ago. But I do have an RN in the hospital who relays the surgeon's information. So mostly I'm in touch with that guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's like your main point of contact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He sets my appointments. He answers my questions,
Okay. So yeah, if you have a question about something, I guess like you don't talk to necessarily each individual specialist.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So let's go to, okay. So you found out that Monday, or you had an appointment Monday. That was the lung stuff. Did you get any news Monday? Because you had another appointment Tuesday.
Didn't I? Because I know I freaked Danny out that day and I didn't mean to.
Yeah, okay.
We were coming in high spirits and then after the show he was like, can I get a heads up? And I'm just like, what didn't I?
Well, there's two things. Okay, so I wasn't sure if this was on Monday's episode or Tuesday's episode. It's been a hectic week. We'll get to it. But either
shut up already. We're getting to it.
Either Monday or Tuesday, and now I think it's Monday, you came in from the doctor's appointment with Hennessy and Xerxes. Danny has now steeled himself for any time someone new, or not new, but like a friend to the show, friend of yours, comes in the studio. It's some god-awful news. So I'm sure he was already on high alert. Then you're like, oh no, I just came from a doctor's appointment. I do think you said something about, I'm going to make it sound more dramatic on the show, but don't worry.
That it's going to sound more dramatic because I'm telling a story.
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah, not that you were going to make it more dramatic, but more like you're not going to get to the end until the end,
Right.
so like it can, people can start to draw conclusions or whatever. I believe also on Monday is when you were like, they're going to treat it with surgery. And you then described slicing you open from your neck, to your belly button or whatever. And
it wasn't to my belly button.
Poor Danny is sitting here like, so they're just going to crack her open? Like,
the thing is, that was very bothersome news. That was, I was doing so well at the doctor's office. And then he literally said, we were hoping to do it the least invasive, but it turns out we have to do it, and he said, the most invasive possible.
Well, because we had talked about on other episodes that there was a possibility when you were thinking you might have to have chemo and radiation or both or whatever, that they would do that to shrink it down, which makes it less invasive because then they have a smaller thing to take out.
Yeah.
So did he say why they wanted to do it like that?
Yeah, it makes sense. I was wondering how they were going to do the other stuff. It's actually making me pretty nervous because it's like we were just talking about, as much as you can see inside my body through these computers and stuff, there are these microscopic things that you might be able to see once I'm opened up. So I hate saying this, and maybe this is probably why we were in good spirits. I would rather them opening up because what they said was, and this is going to be gross, but they're looking at it so they can like legitimately, think about if you're going to go through things and have to, microscopically look at all the stuff, or you have this person's body open and you could move things out of the way to see what's affecting what. Sounds really gross. Sounds horrible. I'm nervous about recovering from that, but it sounded positive because I feel
they're like, let's just get it all out at once.
Yeah. They're like, we could scoop it. It sounds like it could like pop the other way. I know that's not right, but you know what I mean?
Well, we still don't know what it's made out of.
Or if it has teeth.
Yeah. I've asked for the umpteenth time if she will ask them if it has teeth, and she's always like, it's not the right time. I also want to know, if it could pop, what does that mean? Is it a balloon full of pudding? Is it made out of Jell-O? What food group? Is it made out of clay? Well, I would love to know the consistency of this thing.
I always picture it, the texture of that's the texture.
Yeah. Medically, I'm sure that's accurate.
And if you poke it, I imagine it has the texture of
So they want to scoop it all out at once. Not so that it won't pop, but so that it won't whatever. Like, and I'm sure, the longer it's in there, or I don't know. Like,
they just want to be able to, it will be more likely that they can contain it, take it out while it's still contained, and throw it out. It makes sense. It's like throwing out food. If you have like, you get what I'm saying. Just throw out the food.
I actually totally understand why it would bring you comfort to like kind of get it all done in one fell swoop, because also there is still a chance, I'm pretty sure we talked about this on the last show, but actually I have no idea, that there might be radiation after the fact.
Yes.
But
there still is a chance, yeah.
Right. But
because they're opening up, there's less of a chance, because instead of having the radiation from the outside get it, they are going to scoop it. So that makes me feel better, but I forgot that Danny didn't go through that process and everybody else didn't go through that process. And I keep thinking I'm taking care of Danny, and I'm not.
Oh, you're doing the best you can, and Danny's okay. You are. Like, it's okay, especially when he sees you in like good spirits about it. The only reason I was sitting there like a, stone-faced monster is because
you're a monster.
Right. Well, mostly because I'm a monster, but also because I knew that I cried when I heard that, when Dr. Casey told me it.
Right.
I knew it a couple weeks ago. You were like, I'm really glad you didn't tell me that, which is why I didn't tell you it. And Danny, it does.
I know he's not a baby or anything. I know nobody's a baby, but I'm trying to like relay information. There's information now that I haven't told anybody, because I just want to find out. I don't want them to go through this, because it's now been almost a week of me going like, can't wait to get those results.
this is an insane process that
it keeps feeling like it's about to, like, this is
Oh,
all
yeah.
the news. This is everything.
I
Okay.
actually feel like last episode we were like, we have a system of dealing with this. We take it as it
Right.
comes, like,
Right.
because it had been, it's been now over a month. So you have to kind of adjust in certain ways. So it has been gotten back to normal, so to speak, in certain ways.
Well, because once I got the date, we can start planning a little bit more, and I could start knowing what's coming. Is it chemo? Is it surgery? Okay, it's surgery now. I don't know if we talked about this
Okay,
on the last
well,
show.
you're jumping ahead.
Yeah,
so let's, my point was that I think we had created some normalcy to it when we last spoke. But the problem with this is that something new comes out of the woodwork every time.
Mm-hmm.
So you're alluding to this news. We'll get to it later. But what? Now that's a chore that you now have to call everyone on what list to let them know. Like, and then.
No, but by default, I feel like Danny has gotten the shit end.
Yeah.
Because I guess somebody's always going to have to, and I'm always going to drop something.
You're coming from the doctor to work. So a lot of times
right,
there's no other time you're then going to talk about it on the show.
Yeah.
A lot of times there's no time to have like
I'm
a sit
literally
down.
rushing because they tell me that a test is going to take a half an hour, and I'm at the hospital, no exaggeration, between 5 and 8 hours,
Right.
and then I run to work. So,
And actually, you didn't tell me that news beforehand. I only knew it because
Casey.
Yeah. So that's just.
And I had to, after that, I called my brother to make sure, because sometimes, Michael all of a sudden is binging on my shows, so he gets it. Andrew listens to the show, and I don't know if he's behind or caught up. I had to catch him. Hennessy's mom listens to the show every day. So I wanted to make sure I got some information to her before she hears it on the show. And it's like, and sometimes I'm just like, everyone could just hear it on the show because it's not going to crush them. And then I relayed all the info because it's hard to do it. We also started a private Facebook group so that, we don't miss out on telling some people, so that they can have all the answers and whatever.
Oh, and I just want to say, for people who have been wondering about the Facebook group, that ended up being just for, friends and family. But in the Keith and the Girl Facebook group, we have been posting health updates. So if you want to follow along, if you want an update, the Keith and the Girl Facebook group is where we've been posting.
And also, sometimes I don't want to, sometimes I don't know what people want to know. So you could just ask, and that's what I will post.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'm like, who wants to hear more about my tumor?
Right.
I don't know. That's why we're doing this separate thing, because
Yeah.
everyone listening wants to know specifically about this.
Exactly. Yeah. Then it's all contained.
Yeah.
Just like your tumor.
That's right. Just like my football.
Okay. So that was the big thing on Monday, I think, was the news that they were going to treat it with surgery.
Yeah.
So then Tuesday, you had another doctor's appointment, I think, to get some blood work done.
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't think did we learn anything on Tuesday?
We learned that the people in that office sometimes really suck.
Oh.
Which we talked about on the Keith and the Girl show.
Okay.
So
Right.
there were lots of jokes.
Yeah.
Go
So that
for
was
it.
just
Yeah.
kind of an annoying,
Yeah.
whatever, tests, hospital, etc.
Right. Here's my blood. Here's my urine. Yeah.
Okay. So the normal thing. So then Tuesday night, and okay, so I happened to be over at your place, I think, Tuesday night.
Who knows? Let's call it Tuesday.
Okay.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
You got a phone call that
Oh, it was Tuesday.
yeah.
That's the day I got a call that the surgery
Yes.
will be on October 3rd.
Yes. So I don't remember why I was over, but I mean, who knows? But I remember that you got the call because, well, you're on the phone, and will you tell me what was going through your
Okay.
head, and then I'll tell you what I was seeing.
Well, it was you, Xerxes, and Hennessy were there, and I fucking...
Yeah, we were just hanging, I think.
I fucking see a 212 number, and I'm like, just don't... Every time I see the area code 212, I'm like, just don't pick it up because you'll call back or they'll leave a message and whatever. And then I'm like, what's wrong with you? You want to hear the message, then you want to call back. So I always pick it up. But I'm always, when you see me staring at my phone for like 5 seconds, that's the 212 number.
Yeah.
So I pick it up and I hear the RN that's usually in touch with me. I recognize his voice. He goes, hello. I'm like, hi, Chris. And now Hennessy just went to the bathroom. Then he goes, how's October 3rd? And I'm like, who said you can give me a date yet? And then I'm starting to be like, oh my God, he has a date? I thought he was going to get back to me in 2 weeks about a date. And everything started becoming real.
Oh, sorry, just real quick to cut in. So they had, at one of these appointments, had said, okay, so we're going to do surgery. We'll schedule it for a couple of weeks from now. But there wasn't a date. It was still.
Right. Because the thing is they're like, we're going to have to, coordinate with all these doctors. And I'm like, that's going to take a while. And I usually, and I thought this was a pain in the ass until, of course, the opposite happens. I usually have to wait about a week, I didn't wait any time. And I'm like, no, you have to give me a week to adjust to this information. And then I freak out about this information.
Right.
I didn't have, so it was like so fast. It was so abnormal. And I started really getting nervous. And then, Hennessy's in the bathroom when I hang up. And I'm just like, I don't think I could hear anything anymore. I'm like, whoa. And then I think you and Xerxes said something to me and I was like, what? I have to pee. And I did have to pee. And I thought, I'm just going to pee and be able to concentrate. No. I got into the pee room. I'm like, it's not a concentration thing. I'm crying.
The pee room. Her brain was mush, people. Cut her some slack.
The pee room. So then I'm like this weird hyperventilating thing. I'm just like, and I'm just like, this doesn't feel like hyperventilating. I don't feel like I'm losing air. I just feel like I sound really funny. And I felt like it wasn't me. I'm like, why are you hyperventilating? I'm like, why are you talking to yourself? I don't know. I was just like, this has got to end at some point. And then I came out and I asked my hubby to come to the backyard just for a second. And I'm just hyperventilating and I don't know what's happening. And so I'm like, let's smoke weed. And so I'm calming down and it really just passed. Again, I don't know what time it was. Yeah, I actually don't
think, Xerxes and I also were like, should we leave? Because
I know.
you might want to, be alone together or whatever. But
I don't know.
Hennessy was like, nah, just sit tight. And, we were like, okay, just so you know, we won't be offended, So Xerxes and I had a great convo about notebooks while you guys were off doing that. So,
Geeks.
Yeah. So it actually went surprisingly quickly. I thought, you might need some time.
Me too.
I feel like it was like 15, maybe 20 minutes at most,
That's what I thought. I wasn't sure what time
and
it
then,
was.
you came back in. I don't know how you were feeling after that, but you seemed...
Well,
you seemed shaken, but not...
Stirred.
Yeah. Not, distraught or like you seemed
because it
mellow.
It went back to normal. It was because this whole time I'm thinking, I really believe this. I'm not doing the surgery. Good night.
Right.
I'm not thinking about it. This is some top surgeons. I can't do it better. I'm out of here. But all of a sudden it changed. And while I was... I guess having a panic attack, I was like, I'm going to go for a walk by myself. And then, I'm just like, oh, I just told that to my husband, but like, I know he's going to understand. And I got up and took 2 steps. No, I'm going to sit here. No, why don't you all leave? No, just stay here. Let me just wait a second. Why don't you just go get me ice and seltzer? No, just stay here.
Yeah.
So all this stuff was happening. I did notice, and I couldn't tell if it was you or Xerxes, happened to come by the window in the middle of like my ugly cry face. And I'm like, okay, so one of them knows. So I figured you're just going to be over there. I'm just going to like get into this panic attack. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I haven't really been sobbing. I've just been like randomly crying at news. Let's do this. Maybe this is what I'm supposed to do. But then I went into it and it got over. And I think like that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Just walk into the emotion, let it play itself out. And then things got a little bit clearer and a little bit better. I mean, better is always in quotes, but it is better.
It sounds cathartic. I mean,
never understand that. I know that I've looked up the meaning of cathartic. I know that like I've had people use it, and I just don't understand the emotion of cathartic. It seems horribly sad yet somehow good.
Yeah,
I
think I'm sure this isn't the dictionary definition, but I think it's like to go through something. Okay. So it's like you basically you come out on the other side. So it can be horribly dark and sad, but it's like you get
But there's a
through
light.
it, and that's the catharsis is
Now I get it.
going through it.
Watch me use this so many times now. I get it.
So, I mean, definitely I think it was good. Also, I went to the bathroom during that time too.
Oh, it was you then who saw me.
No, Xerxes went and grabbed something off the counter. So we both were just like, and then
Can you hear me panicking?
Yes.
Oh.
It was, I wanted to, like hug you, but I was also like, she needs to do this. I love you. But on the phone, you were just like, okay, yeah, October 3rd. I don't see why it wouldn't be October 3rd. Let me just check my calendar. I mean, I don't know what am I not going to move something for this? Of course, if that's when the surgery is, that's when it is. Let me just ask my husband. Let me just give me 1 second. October 3rd, you said, right? That's a Monday. Okay, yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. Let me just get in my calendar. Please hold. And meanwhile, I'm sure the person on the other end of the phone is like, yeah, we'll hold a second. So I was just like, okay, she's freaking out. Totally understandably.
Okay, did not know that. But that was what was happening in my head. I guess I was saying it out loud. I don't know. I did not know that. I would not be able to recreate that phone call ever for you. So there you go.
There you go.
And I couldn't help but thinking that like somehow Hennessy knew, and his version of crying is pooping. So he was in the bathroom right away. So I'm like, I wonder if he knows.
I mean, I can't remember what was happening. I think maybe it was after the phone call before you went outside or something, because he did poop and I actually said to you, he's crying right now. So I think it was after the news, the date of the surgery. Like, I think something definitely.
He must have heard the name Chris.
Maybe. Like, something snapped in both of you, and
Jesus Christ was calling.
Yeah, and you've been saying on these shows and in general, just like, well, wait for my breakdown,
Right.
like,
and I'm like, maybe this is it, and I'm almost hoping it because I don't need a breakdown while I have stitches.
Right. And well, you also said, I think the last episode, you said you hadn't broke down yet because you don't know what to be upset about, as far as like, there's still news coming, so you don't want to. You don't know to be upset about, am I upset because I'm getting chemo? Am I upset because I'm having surgery? What is it? So it's also incredible that I just think it's so funny between last episode and this one, we were talking about how this is a process, that the results just trickle in and we just have to deal with that. And all of a sudden it was this acceleration of like, this is the date. Everything you want to do before surgery, everything to prep for, Keith and the girl or your home or whatever else. This is the date now. There's a date.
Yeah.
Like, and that is a huge difference from, I'm going to have surgery at some point when they get it together.
I think I just expected the date to make me feel good as opposed to panicked. And then it just threw me off. And I also have, I think that I have a lot of contradicting thoughts, and I imagine that I sound, like just a little back and forth because that is exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
I'll just wait. Holy shit, this is horrible. This is just what my doctors want. Who the fuck are these people? So it's just, it's just gonna keep happening.
So that was a lot of news on Tuesday. That was like,
and that's plenty, right?
That was
that's good.
And that's it. So that was a big threshold, the actual date of the surgery. So Wednesday we normally record 2 shows for Keith and the girl.
Yeah.
So before any of the guests were here, it was me, you, Danny, and Keith, and you wanted to talk about like, okay, I have a date now, so let's like.
Well, I wanted to see, how we're going to say it on the show. Is that when we're going to introduce what happens? Let's talk about what happens now. And the thing is it was obviously like, of course, right before a show. But here's the thing. Timing is not up to me now anymore. When I find out the info, I have to start,
Right.
So I'm, that afternoon I was like, okay, I have this info. How are we going to relay it? But it just went wrong. It just, I was trying to get some information across, but Keith was doing notes, and then it just didn't land very well. And then I was upset.
Yeah, you also just got this news the day before. You also
just had a panic attack. Yeah. I'm freaking out probably on the way to work, like a lot, and on the way home. And I don't know, like
you haven't had time to process this news still. Like I know it's the next day, but that's not that's no time at all. It's basically the next.
But it's a different process. I can process it at home for what it means to home and start thinking about what it means for work. Then when I get to work, I have to think about what the process is for work and how that affects Danny, you, Keith, Michael, Maricela, the listeners, the hosts, the guest hosts, you know, like things like that. So it just went to shit.
Basically, it wasn't going to be the whole conversation, but you basically were like, so we have a date, so let's talk about how this is going to affect. And also, you know, the immediacy, how is this going to affect the next 2 episodes? You know, how
which
we're
is the end of the week.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing is like if you don't mention it or if you don't get to it, whatever, then it's now an entire week later before you can even talk about it. Mm-hmm. And there might be more news. So for
those who are not watching, I just rolled my eyes.
Yeah. So you ended up going to get a coffee just before the show. Like the conversation wasn't happening. So let's just, you know,
start over. Coffee.
The shows have to happen.
Let's do it.
Like, let's do that.
It's a new morning.
Palate cleanser.
Here we go.
all uphill from here.
Yep. So when I got to the coffee shop, I got a wonderful text message from Emmy, who is, I consider my family. Mm-hmm. Her mom had a stroke. Her mom had a stroke. That's all that was in the text. I'm like, okay, my show's starting in 5 minutes. What do I do as a friend, as a family member, as a person who just got this message? I noticed that it's just to me and Hennessy. And I'm like, why is Libby not on this chain? And
because the 4 of us are in a group text that we will just randomly text, you know, whatever.
Right.
Like,
but I know that Emmy is weird about some stuff. Yeah. And she has warned me that if medical emergencies happen, she might not be getting in touch with me. And I'm like, you do you, but I'm here for you. Mm-hmm. So that happened. I called her right away. I'm just like, okay, here's what my day is looking at. Please let me tell Libby. She's right here in the studio. She'll go and I'll meet you after these shows. Would that be okay? So that was okay. Mm-hmm. So now, after I just walked out of the studio, kind of upset, I have to walk back in the studio, secretly tell Libby to get the fuck out and go to our good friend Emmy's house.
Basically, so I'm sitting in the studio. It's already been a weird day. There's a weird energy. Then Chemda comes in and just basically like motions me to come into the kitchen.
Which is always good
She's
news.
on the phone. So I already know something horrible has happened. I have no idea what, but I'm just getting up because the guest is here now. So I'm like, okay, be right there.
Everything's normal.
Yep, totally happens every day. I go
and the guest, it's their first time here. And the fucking vibe, man. Ooh, we need a nice email to Allie, right?
Yeah.
Hi, Allie.
You were a champ.
Yeah.
So then I go in and you tell me that and I'm horrified and I immediately, of course, you know, drop whatever. Like that's it. I call Emmy, make sure just letting you know I'm on the way if that's, you know, making sure it's okay.
And I told Emmy, I'm going to do, and I told you, I'm going to do this show. And then we have 45 minutes before the other guest comes in and he lives in Astoria. So I'm going to talk to everybody after the show because this show was already starting. Let's just fucking do it. After the show, I'm going to talk about like, should we cancel this next show? It's with Mike Vecchione. Just rebook it.
See if we can reschedule.
Let me get up to Emmy. But the show went so far over. By the time we were done, Mike's here. Allie left. Let's start the next show. Mm-hmm. Next show starts. Fucking ends in this weird fucking place that you guys are going to have to look up. Mike Vecchione. It's about this time. I don't know.
It was called Mr. Clean, if you want to look up the Keith and the Girl episode.
More weird shit. Great. That's the last 10 minutes of the show. And then got to go up and...
So now... So Chemda joined Emmy and I at Emmy's place. And now we all go back to Chemda's place. I'm definitely going to start to lose the timeline here because it's been an insane few days. But
now we're in and out of hospitals because of Emmy's mom. And, you know, this isn't happening to her. So we're remotely finding information. And, you know, it's only visiting hours or this, and this.
Yeah.
And so we're just kind of hanging out with each other and doing whatever we can or whatever we're supposed to be doing.
Right. It's just, and it's like, there's never a good time for any of this stuff to happen. But it's also just, God, it's like, your thing, it's so huge. Literally
Football.
and figuratively. Like, it's so much to deal with. It seems like the world should just stop. And we've definitely been, taking our personal days or do it like,
by accident, on purpose.
Whatever we need to do to get through it. But it's also like the world doesn't stop turning. The world doesn't give a fuck about you. Not only business stuff, whatever, but like now this is a thing that, of course we would drop everything for, but your thing is still happening in the meantime.
And then it happens in the middle of
then it happens in the middle of it. So then we had missed visiting hours, whatever. So the next day we're in a cab with Emmy to travel to the hospital to visit her mom for the first time since she's heard the news. And you get a phone call.
And it's a 212 number. And I stare at it and I'm sitting in the middle in the cab. So it's between you and Emmy. And I'm like, motherfucker, there's no reason for them to call me. This could only be shit. Because I have all my I have the things, I have the information. I don't want any more information. They already said my blood work is good. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
I pick up the phone. We found something in your blood work. There's elevated signs of something, which means you could have this, which is a fucking neurological disease. It's attached to this goddamn tumor. They mentioned that this tumor could come with neurological horrendousness, but that I'm not showing any signs of it, except now in my goddamn blood, which means I could be affected not only physically, but neurologically, which I guess is physical, but let's face it, hello.
Yeah.
So psychologically, more than this. And I am gonna die, but I'm in the middle of this. And it's Emmy's turn. And I'm like, this is normal. It's just fucking elevated test. Don't cry. And I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. And just for people who are listening, she is getting the test, but I think a very important aspect of this, not that, I mean, who the fuck knows? Who wants to have hope at this point? But they said that the reason they want to redo the test is because she's not showing any symptoms and they don't buy that this test is positive because
but they don't want to redo this test. Now I got to go in for neurological tests to make sure.
Because they're testing for this specific thing now, right? But the only reason they're doing additional tests is because of this blood thing. But none of the other symptoms are she's not showing any other symptoms.
Yeah, which was what I was showing for the tumor for years. No symptoms.
That's different because the tumor normally doesn't present with symptoms. This neurological thing does usually present with symptoms, which is why they don't believe the blood test.
I know,
I'm not trying to give you any false hope. I'm just saying why it's different.
I have all of those thoughts. I go back and forth to it's elevated blood on this particular test that is very common with this goddamn tumor. And then on the other side, it's like, why would they ever tell me that they don't believe a test? Why would they even say that out loud? And on the other side is because they're human fucks and that's what we do. And this guy likes to talk a lot because he really enjoys medicine, which is what I like about him. But sometimes he gives me too much information.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now that's another thing. Just ignore it. Just take the fucking test and wait for the next results. Yeah. But now I got to deal with a neurologist is going to call you. Then I get another 212 call. We don't have a neurologist here that we can recommend that is in your network. Can you call your network, Oscar, and see a neurologist? And I'm like, great. I'm going to see a neurologist that they're not recommending off the fucking yellow pages.
Right.
Fine.
And this is all, by the way, happening still throughout Emmy's mom being in the hospital.
Yeah, now I'm in the hospital.
As time is ticking by, because again, there's now this looming date of the surgery. So now it's like, now we have to get through extra appointments before the surgery. Like there's just, it's adding a lot of pressure to.
Yeah, and now I got to find a neurologist. Now I got to call Oscar. When? And then look through the network and what? Yelp them?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? So I call Hennessy, who that day happened to be working a 12-hour day. So we had to wait until the next day to start getting a neurologist, also getting in touch with with the my primary care who hasn't gotten back to me, and I'm not allowed to go into surgery until I see her. And now the phone calls are adding up. Now I got to call Oscar. I got to call neurologist. I got to make appointments. I got to call my main doctor. I got to make sure. Now I have 1 week left.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I also have to worry about what's happening with my business, which I haven't discussed with my business partner. Now we have, again, 1 week left. I'm freaking out.
Yeah. Things keep coming up. Like, I mean, this is...
And I don't have time. And so what if somebody else has a heart attack and I got to go there? There's no time. Every time I think, I'm making no plans. I was supposed to go, as soon as we found out the date, I'm like, you know what? Let's go camping. Everything is done. I'm just waiting for surgery.
Yeah.
Let's just fucking get out of here. And that's it. No, because my time is not mine. Hey, we want to take one more test. Will you be there tomorrow? Yes. And it's like, what am I going to say? No. So every day is like some other test. Can you be over here? Yes. Can you be over there? So like nothing's happening except for me going in and out of the hospital and in and out of this studio.
Yeah. Yeah. You're trying to do as much as you possibly can to set yourself up, because also, much like the lung thing that they won't know until they get in there, they've told you the recovery time is 6 to 8 weeks, but
I don't believe them anymore.
Well, they also don't know, like you said, you made the point of, if they end up taking out a whole lung, you might be in the hospital a couple days longer than they originally thought. Who the fuck knows? So
I'm not planning much,
right?
Other than that I can't plan.
Yeah. It's like a want to have everything, prepped and ready to go beforehand. And also the like frustration of, we don't know necessarily how long to plan for.
This question mark tattoo really fucking fits me.
Yeah.
So that's that. I haven't told anybody that.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to tell Hennessy that.
That's the news that we were referring to earlier, when it's like, who do you let know this news? Especially because the doctors are saying that they don't think it's true, and why worry people about this? But also, you shouldn't have to like bear it by yourself. You know what I mean? And also, what if it is something and then you didn't tell anyone? Who know? Like, it's another thing to,
You're gonna have to listen to the show. Don't at my brothers when you tweet.
Yeah. I don't even have to say the name of it. Because I think a lot of times people then Google it and, give you like, well, it could be this or it could be this, or like the best case scenario.
My husband Googled it.
Okay. So here's the other thing. So you had to tell Hennessy about this. You didn't want to. I mean, you didn't want to have to.
No, I didn't want to tell anything. This was the first time I was considering, like, can I get out of this?
Yeah. Yeah. You were trying to figure out if there was a way that you just couldn't tell him that day. But they were saying that they might bring you in for tests the next day or the day after, which is like.
That's another thing. Don't make plans. We're going to bring you in on our time. So now every single day until Monday, because they said today, tomorrow, Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. We're not going anywhere.
Right. So we're trying to plan, whatever. We're trying to plan anything. We needed to have a meeting about scheduling stuff. We wanted to do this. We were going to go with, another hospital visit or maybe 2. And this could pop up at any time. They could just say, yeah, we have an appointment today. It's at this time. Come in.
Out of there.
Yeah. So that's, and then how are you supposed to get everything done?
Well, here's the thing. Here's where me and hubby were. It was specifically those last couple of days, maybe like the last week, but it was coming to a point the last couple of days. We had been bickering. I'm like, what's going on? And we talked about it, but it's like he doesn't usually respond like this. To me seems like agitated about stuff that like would never bother him. And then he's saying the same thing about me. So we were like, obviously this is a lot, and we can't tell who's taking it wrong or who's the sensitive one. So let's just be more sensitive and let's let stuff fall, off our backs a little bit easier, knowing that like this person means well. Can't tell if they're being sensitive or you're being sensitive. Let's just fucking calm down.
Yeah.
But then I didn't see him for 3 days because I'm rushing between appointments and work and hospitals and things like that. And so all we are is like sleeping next to each other and getting up and doing the next thing. And so this is the first time I'm going to have a fucking conversation with him, and I have to tell him that I might have a neurological goddamn thing.
Right.
Okay. So I come in and like we're in such good peace and such good spirits. And like fine and whatever. And I'm just like, okay. So I got a call from Chris and oh God. And I'm like,
right away. Is he like,
well,
does he know that's bad or?
Oh my God. It was the worst. So I said, they found some stuff in the blood. It's elevated. And this, I said right away, I was like, they don't believe that it's true.
Yeah.
But I will have to take more tests. And I had never seen this response from him yet in like the over month-long process that has happened. He starts panicking. Never ever saw this. So he goes, oh my God, no. And I'm like, holy shit, don't respond. Holy shit.
You're like, this is not this is not what I want. Oh. You're supposed to be the one going, no.
Okay.
Oh, good. Nothing to worry about.
Because I didn't Google this, and I know where he's coming from. No.
Yeah.
He Googled the shit out of this, and he knows exactly what I'm saying, even though I didn't say the diagnosis. And he goes, did they say this word? And I'm like, fuck, I think they did. But I didn't say anything. I'm like, I don't know. I can't tell if that sounds familiar. I have it written down. Let me open it. Did they say this word? No. Oh my God, you don't deserve this. He's like, you don't deserve this. This is horrible. I'm so sorry. I'm going to take such good care of you. I'm really sorry. It's okay. Oh my God, this is terrible. This is horrible. Did they say this word or this word? And I'm like, sweetie pie, I'm opening my document here. I would want to tell you the right word.
Yeah.
They said they don't believe it anyway, so let's just keeping that in mind. I'm going to take such good care of you. It's going to be great. They probably said that. Don't worry about it. Oh, I'm going to take care of you for the rest of your life. I'm like, okay. And so I said the word, and he's like, okay, that's the better one. Your muscles might atrophy. This might happen. I'm like, oh my God, he's listing the things. What the fuck is going on?
This is usually the thing that he protects you from, and he's now doing it.
I'm like, okay, all right.
And only because, like, there's this timeline now where normally, for the record, I think he does this with every single thing. I think he's done this with every single step of the process, but he usually does it on his own. And then in front of you, he's calm, cool, and collected, and he has the info. But this is the process. And now you're having to see it because what is he,
Because we didn't have a buffer and because the last couple of days
and you don't have time.
They've been so stressful. The house has become a mess. We've basically every day said we got to get to all of this and nothing gets gotten to. So both our panics are like, are we just neglecting everything? Time is passing. There's only one more week left. Like the house isn't even clean. I can't get through my emails. I can't get this set up. I don't have any time for this. And now he's telling me all the fucking things. And he starts saying, and he goes, is this okay that I'm telling you? And I go, yeah. And I just let him rip, like go for it. And he's telling me all the shit. And I'm just like, that's okay. All right. That sounds like it could be mild.
Can I just say some of the symptoms and why they think you don't have it? Yeah. Because here, I'll see what I have here. So some of the symptoms are, so it is muscular. It's, there's a word for it that it's neuromuscular. So it is a neurological thing, but it says it's a disease that leads to varying degrees of muscle weakness. So the way
which is my nightmare.
Right.
Nightmare.
The way that translates into symptoms is through like in your face, droopy eyes, slurred speech because you've got a droopy mouth, double vision, weak legs and arms. And again, she can see, she's biking to work. Like these symptoms are not, she can speak clearly, obviously. She's still doing a show 5 days a week. So these are not, the symptoms associated with it are not presenting, which is why they think it's a false positive.
But of course, for the next few days, I'm like.
Right. Every time you knock something over, which you like do 1,000 times a day, it's like, is this the thing?
It's a balance thing also. I've never had good balance, but is this a thing? But my ears are bad. I think I've never had good balance because my ears are bad. Yeah. Who knows? And I'm just like, stop thinking about it. And I do. But wow, what a response that was. And he's not going to enjoy listening to this, but he's allowed.
Yeah.
He's allowed. This, we're going to panic at different moments. I was just like, fine. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, you have to take turns breaking down. This was also the first time we were on the train I don't know, we took this train so many times together, me and you and Emmy, back and forth from the Bronx to Long Island City. And we were talking about this, and it was the first time you've ever asked me what Casey had to say about it. And of course, I hadn't had a chance to talk to her yet, but I was shocked because so far you've been more, let me get this information as it comes or once we know something. And this was the first time that you had asked me, what do you know about this? What do you?
I feel like physically I can get over things. It's an operation. People get over operations. I feel like they don't know that much about the brain. And it's all very experimental right now. And I also think that next level is this already next level thing. And it's already enough with the news.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's definitely enough.
I can't with the neurological shit.
Yeah.
And I can't. And then like I have to find a doctor now. Like, here's the bad news. Now go get help.
Right.
Fuck.
Yeah, and that takes some level of brain
like,
function to be like focus. Now you have to find a doctor and insurance, like as if insurance is so easy to
Right.
So now on top of this news, now you're supposed to do tasks like So you did end up finding, or they ended up finding a neurologist.
We were in the middle of looking for whatever we were supposed to look for. All of a sudden I get a call. This person's going to call you. They're from the neurological office of this office and blah, blah, blah. Then they didn't call me for a whole day, but they're trying to figure out if they accept my insurance, which is such a fucking joke.
Right.
And then if they don't, then fuck me. And so again, I'm waiting. And then I have an appointment at 11 a.m. on Monday.
Right. So
I have no idea what that test is going to be. I don't know how long it's going to take. So now I have to wait until their office opens to see if I'm going to be late for work on Monday. Then we have to change it with the guests. So it's like a constant like, that's okay.
Yeah.
We'll just do the paperwork on that.
Yeah. That's the other thing too. It's like just as soon as you're like, okay, you have a solid week of shows, you can do the shows, like before you have to take time off, you'll like do a good week of shows, and already it's like another thing. Do we have to move it? Do we have to cancel it? It's never ending, it seems.
Yep.
So that was a lot. I don't really have any follow-ups on that because we just have to wait and see.
I'll tell you what, I had a lovely juice today because we've been eating chicken fingers for 3 days.
A lot of comfort food going on.
Yeah. Enough French fries for a week.
Yeah. I feel like we did accomplish a lot today, which is good. I think that helps like the nerves and also, the panic and makes us feel like we're on more solid ground. So
I got together with Keith. We formed a little more of a solid plan. Then we got together with me, you, and Keith, relayed some info and added some stuff. Because every time you get together with someone to solidify some stuff, other questions come up, like you're forgetting this and forgetting that and whatever. And then you have to have another meeting with somebody else. I have to have a meeting with Danny,
also
Michael,
different
Maricela.
departments, and then we're all obviously working together. Yeah. And so it's like, even though something might not be my department, it might still be helpful to know what's going on somewhere else. Just, like,
and I seem to be somewhat of a hub. I probably am the one relaying information the most, obviously Keith is like there, but like I talk to Michael more than he does, maybe, you're
more of the point person.
Yeah, especially between you and Keith. Like, you guys don't really talk because it's my department and we're talking about my department. But now department.
I took over the booking too, which is like your thing. Yeah. And so some of the responsibilities that you have will be shifted to me while you're gone. Right. And we'll talk about that. But
and then some will be on Maricela, some will be on Michael, some I don't know what, but it'll trickle to Danny, and nobody's necessarily going to be like, I'm doing all of this.
Right.
But now everyone has to come together a little bit more without one of the pieces.
Yeah, and it's helpful. Like, there might be things that you do that maybe we don't notice, or like, you don't really think of when you're thinking of like your responsibilities. Right. So again, it's just helpful for everyone to be on the same page. But so you guys talked, and then the three of us talked, and then you and I talked. Yeah. And so there was a lot of like kind of checking things off of like, okay, so we have a kind of a plan now.
This is the same thing. Like, if you get pregnant, you got to tell your boss. Your boss has to set up, what you do and give it to somebody else. And the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Okay. So there's an appointment for that on Monday. So I'm sure we'll do another one of these.
Casey, how long does that appointment take?
Yeah. And what is that test? I can't believe they don't tell you what the test is.
I think they were in a similar position of fuck staying on the phone. I'm going to go find a doctor for you. You go find a doctor also. Let's get this appointment. We'll let you know more. Anyway, you got to go do this. Let's find the doctor. Let's check with your insurance. Let's make sure that you have an appointment in time so that we can get the results and then keep this appointment.
Yeah.
So we have time. And I can email him. He gets back to me. I can call him. But I haven't even had a chance to email him to be like, by the way, what am I doing? Should I eat? Should I not? Obviously, I can eat because they would mention that automatically. But,
right.
Sorry,
I wanted to go back a little bit to one of the other appointments that you had on Monday or Tuesday, because we had talked about on the last episode, since Hennessy was kind of the go-between, did you get any new information from the horse's mouth, like from seeing the doctors? Did you ask anything to clarify anything? Obviously it's chugging along. So,
well, I met with the main surgeon for the first time.
Okay.
So much younger than I thought.
We didn't talk about that because it hadn't happened yet. So
okay. So basically it was finally like here's what to expect.
Here's your team kind of.
Everyone's in the meeting. Wow. So there are two it's a learning hospital a little bit, or
a
like
teaching hospital.
A teaching hospital. So two
residents, maybe.
That's what I think. Really sweet people. So they were in the room. The doctor that I've been seeing, Dr. Patton, the RN Chris, and Dr. Lazaro, who's actually going to be the main surgeon.
Okay.
I met him for the first time. I thought he was going to be 100. The accomplishments, the how much he's on top of this game. You really think you would have to put like 30, 40 years. This guy can't be that much older than I am.
Okay.
50, and looking good. Love it. Actually, I was like, is he too young? And then I was like, no. And so we got I thought it was going to be like a 24-hour surgery. It's a 6-hour surgery. Maybe if it was, through the machines, it would be 24 hours. Who knows? I got to be there October 3rd, 6 a.m. No eating, of course, at midnight.
Yeah.
Surgery starts at 8. Who knows what that means? 6-hour surgery. I have to stay a week in the hospital. Ugh. My hair is going to look terrible. There was a receptionist there that was dying to comb my hair. I'm bringing a brush.
Yeah.
And then I am home for 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay. Did you get any information about the stage? Did they mention anything about that?
I don't. Sounds like stage 2, I think, but I don't remember. There's a lot of stages being thrown, and I don't care.
Did they mention anything about there was a thing that came up on the last episode of it's not cancer yet? Is this when they had mentioned radiation?
They're still into the radiation afterwards.
They love it. Yeah. They can't get enough of it.
They're trying to avoid it, of course.
Sure.
I think that they still don't know until they get in there because they're afraid that tiny things might be cancer, or, it's not going to be able to be gotten because it's so small. So radiation will have to take over. That sounds all right. That sounds like if it is radiation, it's very minor because they already scooped so much.
Yeah.
So, but then what's his name? Steve? Was on the show and was like, I try to be a radiation, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
Steven Spinola, she's talking about. I think he interned or something for like a day. I don't know.
And nearly threw up. So this is what he tells me in response to I might have radiation while he's rocking back and forth at my news. And I'm just like, all right, buddy, let's have it. Because I'm like, this person's not handling it. And so I guess it's his turn now. And I'm just like, go ahead. And he's like, no, I don't want to make it about me. I'm like, you're having a panic attack. Just fucking tell me.
Yeah.
Like, it's better than me watching you self-soothe while I tell you about this shit. So I'm just like, go ahead. He's like, I'm not trying to make it about me, but I tried this thing with radiation. I saw burns and he's describing this. Man, this is another one of those things where if I go, because all our episodes now are being posted on YouTube. So I have a feeling if you watch my face, and he doesn't know me, if you watch my face, I'm doing this face that I do when I'm trying not to make a face, but you're giving me some fucked up shit to think about. And I'm just like, okay.
See, I thought, I mean, I was in the room for the show and I thought that you looked very calm, but I was kind of like, why is she letting him talk about this? I know she doesn't want to hear about this.
Nope.
Why is this conversation happening?
Let me tell you something. Don't appreciate the shit that I learned.
Yeah.
I really didn't. I was like, I didn't fucking know that. What?
That's also, and see, this is why it's not good to have more information than you need because that's not every case. Like those are possibilities, but like, again, why you don't even know if you're going to have it, much less if you're going to have the part where you get burns or whatever. Why
like,
focus on those?
I couldn't even look at them. I was gonna throw up. I was gonna faint. Things like that. I'm just like, okay. I just said I might be getting this, right?
This conversation started because I might be getting radiation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I just let him finish. And I was like, it's still just information. I still don't know if I'm getting radiation.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to start worrying about that. I know I also am going to have a giant scar on, a part of my body that I don't want to cover because I don't want to wear, I can't have.
Oh yeah, you wear a lot of scoop necks.
I need to breathe. I'm amazed that I'm wearing sleeves. I don't like sleeves. Out of clothes. This is Hennessy's. And so like my armpits are not breathing. I don't like wearing shoes. Like, no.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be showing off my scar, and I don't want on top of that also radiation burns. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Again, this is like if I was 20 or 25, I don't know, that would like hit me more. But I'm like, you don't want to look at my burn? I don't give a shit. Fine.
Those aren't small things to be concerned about, but it's also
part of it. But I don't want to worry about what I'm going to look like right now. That's why I wasn't worried about my hair and stuff like that. I can't.
Did they say anything about if radiation? It'd be like, I would assume after your recovery from surgery.
I think so, because it's pretty harsh.
Right, because you need to recover and they want you to be strong, I would guess. But I was just curious if they had mentioned that.
They didn't. See, this is the thing. Like when I start asking about radiation or things after the surgery, they said they so don't know 100% what they're looking at until they open me up that I can't even get information after the surgery. So all I did was like go, okay, I know I'm going to have to be in the hospital for a week, and I know that I'm probably going to be out of it. Let me plan 2 months of me not being there. And if I can be there, surprise, I'm here.
Right.
Great. So let me just set myself up so I'm not worried about like getting off my meds and like being coherent and my, staples popping and like whatever. I don't know how it's holding it together. And another thing is I saw my dad go through it. He had to be opened. And it was more lower abdomen because he had his cancer was like by the butt.
I know
what do
there's
men get?
Stuff. Prostate?
The other one. Colon cancer. So it was like right there. And oh man. So first of all, he wanted to get out of the hospital just like everybody else does. But once you get home, and this is actually good to know, once you get home, you're like, oh shit, the hospital is set up for sick people.
Yeah.
So when you're laying down, you could press a button, it'll help you get up.
Yeah, and Grace and Frankie, they got him that chair that lifts you up, and he didn't want to use it. That's you. You have to be careful.
I don't mind that. I don't want to strain like that. That looks like it hurts. He's just rich, so whatever. And that's so false.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get into Grace and Frankie. I just thought that it was a reference.
That's another podcast. Well, so I saw my dad. He said when he got home, you would think it would be easier. You got the comforts of home. You like feel, your TV is yours and your room is yours.
You have your own bed. Yeah.
And he's like, no, because now I got to my bed is upstairs. And if I need to know the answer to a question because something feels different, there are no doctors on call.
You can't just grab someone.
Right. And so now you have to adjust to being at home with this weird thing. And then another thing is he looked like he wanted to kill himself every time he wanted to sneeze because, and I heard this somewhere else, it feels like your stitches are going to pop. So it's like a nightmare.
Ooh.
Yeah. but obviously they're not going to pop. But he used to have this pillow that he would put in front of his belly.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I know they're not going to pop, but it feels more comfortable. Like
I might have, I don't know if I mentioned this on a previous show or not, but
they can pop. Oh, good to know, Libby. That's what people talk
That's
to
what
me
Casey
like.
told me.
Yeah.
No, but my my great aunt had to have a surgery that she had her chest cracked open, and they actually gave her a pillow because they said that not because it'll stop them from popping, but here's a pillow.
Go on.
Go nuts. No.
Bite on it.
No, but because it's more fragile and it helps cushion it. Like it helps basically cushion your cough. So that is like a real
Well, I won't be able to
thing.
cough. I legitimately won't be able to cough, which is why it's more likely that I will get pneumonia, which is why they have to keep me in the hospital for a while so that they can keep germs away from me. And that's part of it is I have to keep really clean. And
You mean you won't have the capability to cough, or you're not supposed to cough? Like what?
I think I won't be able to cough.
Okay.
So because
I see. So
yeah.
then if you got pneumonia and then you're not able to cough.
Well, because I'm not able to cough, I could get pneumonia.
Oh,
So-
because you can't get the stuff out?
Yeah.
I see.
What you're doing is your body is clearing things. It's like moving things around. It's rejecting some stuff. And, you could spit things out. And like, it's coughing for a reason. So because I won't have certain functions, just chances are more great than you have chances of getting pneumonia. But they're not like, you're going to get pneumonia.
Yeah.
So they're just going to be careful about that.
So you're supposed to be in the hospital for a week. How did they walk you through? Are you going to be in pain? Like, are you going to be
Yes.
passed out that entire time? What do you know what that week looks like?
They were like, before they were talking about the pain, they go, as soon as you get out of surgery, we're going to heavily medicate you. Like, you will be on enough stuff because this will hurt.
Okay.
But they were reassuring me.
Good news, bad news situation.
Right. They were reassuring me, like, because they were talking to me like, obviously, this would be a thing that would hurt very much. You're going to have tubes coming out of you still, even though we will close you up. And so, but don't worry, we have, the whatever the IV is ready.
Yeah.
We have meds ready. You will be in as little pain as you could possibly be.
Okay.
And they were like really comfortable with that. And I'm like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
And then they said by the next day or the day after that, we will be forcing you to walk around the hospital because your
so
muscles
crazy.
can atrophy if you
That
don't
quickly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Huh.
That's what I said. And they're like, oh yeah, as soon as you could move, we're going to ask you to move.
Wow.
Yeah. As soon as I feel like I can do anything, they're going to like, not push me to, but just do it. They're encouraging as soon as you could do it, just do it. And then they said after that, like as much as you can exercise, obviously you're not biking, but we're going to ask you to walk around the block. We're going to ask you to do certain exercises so that your muscles don't atrophy, so that this stuff doesn't like stay stagnant.
Okay.
Yeah. And so what that is, I don't know. And I think they don't know either because, and I could be wrong about that, but we're still going to find out. They don't even know what they're going to look at when they're getting in there. So everything can change that day. So I can't even imagine what Hennessy's going to look like.
You said they're doing some, you're supposed to do some breathing
Oh, yeah.
exercises the week before.
Oh, so they're going to send me this thing, which they haven't yet. They're sending me scrubs. They're sending me this breathing exercise that I have to do, which is like Grace and Frankie. I have to blow into this thing, make sure that like
The little balls go up.
Yep, to increase my my lung capacity so that
Yeah.
it could be open and ready. They also gave me soap.
This is crazy to me also.
This is so
Please
nuts.
tell about this.
This is what I'm one of the most nerve-wracking parts
Because
of it.
it's insane. I agree that it's insane. And it's like they think the information that they want to give you that's so detailed is always words that you don't understand. So
Right,
you're just
right.
like, okay, I believe you.
Right.
And then the stuff that like you is left up to you or that you can comprehend, like soap, like washing yourself before the surgery. Like they don't give you
Oh, I'm asking again about
enough
that.
instructions. They're just like, here's 3 soaps, and I'll let you talk, but like, here's 3 soaps that are of specific order, a specific
no, not
day.
specific. They're all the same.
They are
They're
all the same. Okay.
They're all the same.
Like,
Yeah.
and you have to wash yourself before surgery.
This makes me very nervous because each soap, they're like, so the soap can't be contaminated. There's a reason why they gave me 3 soaps. They're both
Because they don't want you to reuse the soap.
They're all 3 of them are very hygienically
They're sealed. They're come in their own like tin foil. I mean, whatever, wrapper.
Each little thing. So as soon as I open it and use it, I have to throw it out.
Okay.
They didn't say throw it out, but why else would they give me 3 of them? I'm not going to use an entire thing of soap. So he's like, make sure that you scrub in the area. And I'm like, the fuck does that mean? And not only do I have to do it, and it's not like this is special soap one time. I have to do it 3 days before, 2 days before, and the morning of. And I'm like, do I have to time it exactly 24 hours? This will help me not get pneumonia. It'll help me not get sick. It'll help me not you're leaving this up to me? They're like, they're still going to scrub you anyway right before. And I'm like, ew, I'm going to be showered while I'm asleep. That's so disgusting. I don't even want to think about that. They're molesting me.
Yeah, just think of they're prepping the area. They don't. They're just prepping the work surface.
And then, do I shave my pits? What do I wear to surgery?
Also, the soap has 2 sides of it. Oh, yeah. Right?
So the soap has 2 sides of it. One of the sides is more harsh. It's the one that they use to scrub their nails. This is the soap that I'm using the soap that surgeons use before
to
surgery.
Scrub in.
Yeah. So one side is skin and the other side is under their nails. So I go and I have pretty tough skin, You
like a abrasive, what do you call it? Like a scrub.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I can take the heavier scrubs. And so I'm like, listen, if I can scrub with the other side, should I? And he goes, no, don't do that. Don't ever do that. And I'm like, dude, you are sending me soap with 2 sides.
Yeah.
Fucking tell me that one side is absolutely not to be used.
Yeah. That came up through you asking, not from them being like, and of course, don't use this side. And then you were saying too, so should I scrub my nails? Because they didn't say that. They said to do from, this part to this part. So, but I have the nail scrubby thing.
I'm going to scrub my nails. Right. I don't know what to tell you.
I know. And it freaks you out because you're in charge of this thing. And like you said, you're like, I'm going to be asleep. They're going to do the surgery. So all I have to do is get to the surgery. And then they keep giving you more chores and tasks. And
and also, why are you mailing me scrubs? Do I show up in scrubs? Because that's gross. Because I'm going to take a cab.
Yeah.
What?
No. I would bring them, right?
Oh, fuck. Send me scrubs.
Yeah.
I guess I can't get them in the hospital. I don't know.
Right. Oh, I don't know. I would ask.
Casey. I just thought I'd leave that for later.
Yeah. Okay. So you also said, so you're going to be in the hospital for a week. They're going to manage your pain. They're going to have you up and walking. You said that you were worried about the food in the hospital.
Yes.
Okay.
So I've seen hospital food. And if I'm going to get the kind of food that you wouldn't absolutely recommend and prescribe to me as a patient, whether it's a patient of a tumor or a patient of a heart attack or a patient of a flu, if I fucking see white noodles and neon cheese in front of me and Jell-O, I'm not eating any of it. And I'm complaining about it. And I'm asking my surgeon, would you tell me to go home and eat this? I'm not trying to be trouble, but I'm not eating that.
You're not trouble. I would ask them beforehand because I bet there's something that can be done. And obviously I'm just speculating, but I don't know why hospital food is the way it is, especially when you're supposed to have all the nutrients you need. But I would ask about that. Sometimes there's a thing where the kosher meal is better than the, so.
Let me tell you something though. I have a feeling I won't be able to eat. They just opened up. This thing has already affecting my bowels and my whole system. I have not slept through the night in, I don't know, except for last night. I slept 6 hours. I don't know. All I know is this was weird. I was like, wait, it's fully morning? What? So that's good. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just be in IV for a week until that gets back together. So I don't want to be and by the way, but I will. These are questions that I'm going to send in an email when I'm not taking their time in one of the appointments that are scheduled throughout their day so they could answer in actual time when they have that.
Well, have they mentioned anything about what you're supposed to eat when you go home? Because the thing about that is if they, let's say they do keep you on IVs for a week or whatever, they usually have to reintroduce solid foods.
They haven't mentioned anything about food or what to expect in that. I don't know.
I mean, and they do always give usually a couple of sheets about, info sheets of things to do, not to do, watch out for when you go home. So maybe that's just still coming.
Well, I'm still in between. There's still 2 appointments, well, now with the neurologist and my primary care. Because I haven't done that like I know I'm going to be seeing them again, so I'll have those questions.
Yeah.
Plus, what is this tumor made of?
Yes. Finally, we can get to the bottom of this. Okay. I want to kind of touch on some things that we've talked about on other episodes. First of all, how are your brothers doing? How are they doing since?
First of all, congratulations to Andrew and Olivia. They have their second child, which came around the same time that we were like dealing with this news. So that's really awesome. His name is River, and he's adorable.
So cute.
Yeah. And so I think they got a lot going on. It's a really good baby, sleeping through the night, just like their sister. And so I think they're keeping in touch with each other and with me. And, like I said, I called Andrew so that he doesn't get news from this way or that way. But it's, Michael, I could see I'm meeting him, this Wednesday with Maricela. But Andrew's a little more remote, so we have to like make a little bit more effort. But they're probably telling each other how they feel a little bit more than me.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: when I told Michael about, I knew I had to call Michael because he would be the most disappointed that I had to be open. And I was like, okay, so you read the Facebook post, and I wrote everything.
What, can you tell me why? I mean, I know it's upsetting, but why specifically Michael? Why would he?
He was looking forward to the fact that I won't have to be invaded. And so now it's his sister being open up, and he knows that is a lot. And so I didn't write that purposefully on Facebook. I just wrote facts that 6 to 8 weeks and this, like nothing that I'm going to have to go through. And then I called them and I said, hey, we were hoping for the robotic thing, but it sounds like they're going to have to, I know they're going to have to do this other thing. And he's like, oh man. And I'm like, yeah. And then he goes, wow, I was just looking at the Facebook thing. And to be honest, I was feeling good about it. And you know what? Okay, this isn't. And so he goes, oh, it turns out I wasn't as he noticed that he wasn't as devastated. I'm like, I know. I did that on purpose. I'm not trying to scare you. I know how to do this. Then I'm like, I got to go. I got to call your other brother before he listens to my show and freaks out.
Right. So, well, I know that we had talked about one of them was going to tell your parents about this whole thing.
Yeah.
It was going to be after we got the news, which has never come. We still don't have the news as far as I'm concerned. There's been so many trickling of things.
It still could be cancer. It still could be my entire lung. It could be my brain.
So it was supposed to be after the results, after the biopsy, whatever, and then those were inconclusive. So I don't know if they waited further. Basically, I'm asking if you know if either of them spoke to your parents.
I don't know, and sometimes I get curious and I want to ask, and I don't because I think that's putting my brothers in the middle of it. And so if you don't want to talk to your parents, don't talk through your brothers. That's really unfair. So even if I get curious, they're having their relationship, and I wouldn't want them talking through. I wouldn't want to hear my parent. I'm just trying to be.
It's not their responsibility to relay between you guys. I was just curious do you think they have mentioned it?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't know, but my parents are in the States now, or were in the States just recently because River was born. And so I'm seeing the pictures of River with my mom and River with my dad. And I'm like, this is crazy. But I expand the picture to see what my parents look like now. I was like, okay, all right. And so I only know what my parents look like through these pictures.
Yeah.
And so,
how do they look? Pretty much the same?
The same.
Or? Okay.
Yeah, they're looking good.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm like, all right. And I look exactly like my mom. I'm like, okay, all right. I look so much like my mom that when my little nephew sees me, he calls me grandma.
The old shepherd, not the newest newborn.
He's very advanced.
Yeah.
He's just 2 weeks old as of now.
That's really funny though.
Yeah. So I don't, because it's over FaceTime, and I really look like my mom. I can't show you guys a picture because you're weird, but
just trust.
Just this. And so I saw them, so which means I know that they're in the States.
Right.
Nobody told me that because they know not to. And I thought of asking, but I'm thinking if they knew, wouldn't they be panicked? Wouldn't some... I don't know. So then I go, well, I can't think about it because I won't know and I'm not going to ask. And so whatever.
Okay. So no new developments in that.
No.
Okay.
But what a bunch of creeps. Seriously, because I thought about it and I'm just like, yeah, this is we're not talking. So you don't talk. But we're not talking because I'm not the woman that they want me to be. We're not talking because I speak my mind.
Right.
We're not talking because I didn't marry someone that they are happy with. We're not talking because I do what I do for a living. But if I was a dude, we'd be talking. So we're not talking because I'm a feminist. And so that's why I'm comfortable not talking, because I won't talk to anybody if they're not going to talk to me because I'm a feminist.
Yeah.
If you don't think men and women are equal, I don't want to really, because I've had enough. I've had, that's it. It's enough like being a woman and having everybody else do that to you. This I don't need from my parents.
Yeah. That's fair. It also, I mean, that has affected you
more than I know.
Yeah, so much.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Yeah,
finally, and let me tell this to parents. When you do that to someone, and when you tell them about their sexuality like that, and when you talk about their opinions like it doesn't matter because they're female, they'll relay that to the men. And I did the exact opposite of what you wanted me to do, mom and dad. You gave me less power and gave it to the guys that I was with because you told me that my voice doesn't matter, and that, so I ended up probably sleeping with people who didn't respect me because you didn't. So love your daughter like she's a person and stop it.
Yeah. And also just another disclaimer.
You think she's going to find the right woman because she fucking does house cleaning well? The right man. You think anyone's going to find the right partner? Because
nobody's going to find anybody based on house cleaning.
Seriously. You think that that's who's going to love me? A person who keeps me in that space and doesn't allow me to be who I am? Get out of here. And why? So you could visit me one time when I have a tumor?
Yeah.
No.
I just wanted to say like a quick disclaimer, because I see this happen to you a lot and other people too, is just people being like, oh, I'm sure they would want to know about your tumor whenever the parents things comes up because you're not speaking. It's like, you know what? If someone's not speaking to their parents,
can you imagine?
Just assume that they have their reasons. Like,
imagine what it would take to not talk to your parents. You think I don't have that?
Yeah.
You think I don't have that capacity in me? How long does it take before I don't talk to people? They have to spray paint my house, and I've still been in touch with that bitch.
This wasn't a tiff that all of a sudden you weren't talking for 10 years. Like
this is them not liking my core and being very expressive about it. Yeah. No thanks. Life is hard enough. But I love you somehow, somewhere. I do, but I don't like you.
All right. I just want to get back to the kind of recovery time for a minute. So we covered.
Remember when you thought this would take like a half hour?
Yeah, I know. I always think there's going to be nothing to talk about.
Right.
So the recovery time at home is going to be 6 to 8 weeks, and we were just talking about this before the show because you might need people to be there. You're not really sure. They haven't told you very much about
what I'll need,
during that time. And that's probably partly because they need to see what happens during the surgery. And then there's the hospital, so.
It sounds like I'll be pretty self-sufficient, but so highly medicated that I need to watch out a little bit.
Okay.
That's what it sounds like. I'm half guessing, half like what else.
Yeah.
That's like the information that I have.
So maybe you're not cooking a meal because you shouldn't really be, chopping things or on your feet that much or near fire.
Right. Yeah. So I think like me watching TV, I won't need to be babysat like I'm going to throw up and like kill myself because I don't know how to swallow anymore. But,
might need someone for like errands because you're probably not supposed to lift stuff.
Right.
Like, okay.
I probably won't be able to take a normal shower, things like that. So I will have to be heavily reliant on people, which I fucking despise.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that? That there might be, people in and out helping during this time?
I feel really good. I feel horrible about that, but I feel amazed at how many people want to help and and I believe them. Yeah. I think like if I didn't believe them, I'd be like, I still have to take it.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to, but you already volunteered. But I believe everybody who said they want to help me, which is amazing.
And also, like, it doesn't
Christian Finnegan said, I'm in the neighborhood. I will go supermarket shopping for you and drop it off. Ophira reached out and was like, and got like really personal with me and like connected with me and was like, I love you, and on like really, no one's just like, hope you get better, like
get well soon.
I've opened from listeners that were like expressed to me that them and their husband like have a nightly routine with me, and like that I help them raise their daughter, or that I help them become the woman that they like. And this is when I start crying. Like I've equally cried at the emails and response that I've gotten, you know, online and social media and my emails. And, you know, I haven't been able to respond to absolutely everyone, but I will be reading them. And I've cried equally to like the response of human beings to this as I did to like bad news and like scary news and stuff, which is like, what? Who can be sad about that?
Yeah.
I mean, I can sometimes, but forgive me. But who could be overall? Wow, man.
Yeah.
Overall. And then I'm like, you know, I say things like, look at this. My tumor's getting 600 likes on Facebook. I was getting ready to go on tour this time last year. Not one post about that got 600 views. And Hennessy goes, you know, you're getting that because of the same thing.
Yeah.
Like you're getting it because you're doing that. And I'm like, I know. I'm just being a duty ball. But I just need to complain. But
you're such a fucking whiner. My goodness. It's also, I mean, we talked about this too, I think, that it shouldn't be this way, but a lot of times it's not, you don't just express your love for people all the time, you know, especially if it's someone that maybe you light up every time you see them, but you're not actually like close friends. They're just an acquaintance that has a great vibe. Like if that person had something happen to them, I would be really upset, but I'm not going around every day necessarily writing an email to that person about what they mean in my life. You shouldn't wait till something like this happens, but also it's like, oh, you know, it's an opportunity to say how you feel. It's one's. It's not like anyone's making it up. It's just this is the opportunity to say it.
I do still like you know, Bonnie McFarlane every once in a while will be. I'll text her and be like, "Where in the world is Bonnie?" And like, or Bonnie will be like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, I'm planning on stalking you next week, you know, and so it's good that, you know, that, or Justy will send me a stupid video. Like this sort of thing. And this is before tumor.
Yes.
So now it's just, so I guess that helps me believe everything.
Yeah.
Like we weren't close. I can't be close to everybody you've ever seen in the studio, but I fucking love the shit out of a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know? That's so good. I'm going to miss this place so much. I'm going to be so jealous of all the story time. I'm going to be listening in my house going like, feedbacking in, like God.
Oh, I saw someone posted on the forums. I'm so sorry that I don't have it printed in front of me, so I can't shout you out by name, but they were like, you know, do an episode where you're fucking hopped up on painkillers, do an episode where you're mad and it's just like you're calling everybody out, do an episode where
if I can, I will.
You know, fight MJG for the best feedback, you know, crown, like however you're feeling is going to be okay for the show. And everyone just wants, you know, whatever you want. Like this show brings you so much joy.
I love it.
I know. Like that's why everyone loves you, because you love it so much. You know, it's not coming from a false place. I did you the favor of shouting out some people who did some really kind things on Hennessy's part of the episode, because Chemda does not know how to ask for or accept help.
No.
So.
No, in fact, in the last episode, you started going into like, you know, if you guys want to help, but I wanted to kill myself. I'm like, what do you mean? Can't you do this on the next part where I'm not here?
No shit.
I want to die.
Like, yeah, just shush. I'm gonna, you know, you're
I'm out of here.
Goodbye.
Everything's fine. Don't worry. Nobody needs help. I'm fine.
So during that recovery time too, yeah, she's already plotting about how we can record from her place. And yeah. So don't worry. Like
as soon as I can get in here, I will. In fact, I'm having daydreams about surprising you fuckers. Surprise, I'm here. And now I'm sitting in.
All right. So let's talk about keeping the girl for a minute, because you are going to be away for a while, which is going to suck.
I have the best, worst scenario.
Okay.
Right? So every week, starting with you, and we've mentioned this before. So, okay. October 2nd, we're going to record October 3rd's episode, which will be my final episode before surgery. And you're going to be the guest. And then we're going to pass the baton. Oh, there should be like a real baton. See, this is the stuff I don't have time for. You know what I mean? I'd have a baton with like Keith and the girl written on it, and like, you know, a little chalk space where you put your name and then you hold it on. And then you have like a routine where you erase yours and the next you write your next person's. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun.
That's the important part, the baton.
It's the fun part.
Uh-huh.
So pass the baton on to you, which is like a huge thing because that, if it wasn't for that, I don't think I'd be feeling as comfortable. So I don't think we're thinking Libby enough. I don't think that you've had your chance to fucking break, because every time it gets close, we ask you to do something else. So here's this. I pass the baton to you. It's your turn to cry.
I hate the idea of you not being on this show. I know you do too.
Really?
Well, there's a running joke of Chemda gives me a show and I immediately tell her she can't be in the room during it. because she can't shut up. You know she's going to jump on mic if she's in the room. But it's only fun when I can, you know, be like, the second she says the idea and I go, yeah, I'll do that. And you won't be there.
And you're not allowed here. I'm like,
it's
okay.
It's no fun if you can't actually be there.
You want to be able to kick me out.
Yeah.
The tumor's getting all of this. It's trumping your cards.
Okay, so we're gonna pass the baton.
and then you're gonna start hosting for the first week, which is a huge relief because you know, people have been in and out of here as guests, and I get that, like, you know, we know each other and Keith knows them, but like to adjust to now you're the co-host, I think is a bigger deal. But you've been around for a while. You have a rapport with Keith. And I think that that's going to make it less of a jump. Like, we have a similar sense of humor. We know where we could push Keith and where the jokes lie, and you know, your BFFs with Danny. And so it's a very comfortable thing. And then, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between and above and beyond, ladies and gentlemen, whatever junk you're holding. And then you also will be there for the first day of peace. So okay.
So there's going to be a guest host that's going to take over while Chemda's away. I'm going to do the first week. Yeah. After that, a new guest host is going to take over and have basically like a residency for a week. So they're going to be a girl instead of Keith and the girl, because there's only one in 1.5 in a million, ladies and gentlemen. Dare you. It will be a girl, any old girl, except that we have. I don't want to spoil anything because you're gonna have to tune in, but we just created like a wish list of. And thank God we have such a deep bench of incredible.
It was hard to choose.
Yeah. To narrow it down even to like our favorite. I mean, and it's not just favorites, but it's like, who do you think could swing it with their schedule? There's like a lot of elements, but but it's going to be fantastic. So I didn't mean to cut you off. No, so it'll be then the next one will take over after I do. So it'll be 5 shows for each host. And so you're going to be there for the first time. They're here for the first day, which is such a comfort because, you know, when we're in the room, we're on autopilot. Everybody knows their position. The guest knows, just wait a second if we're not talking to you yet. We're going to be on air in a minute. A lot of times people don't want to talk before air because you want to capture the moment on. So everyone gets it, but now it's like a little bit of a different feeling. So I feel very lucky that you're going to be there to make them feel warm. You also have the first experience. So you can like write down like, oh, this was a little weird. Somebody coming in will want to know this. Somebody will want to know that. So that buffer is why I feel like, okay, like, this is going to work. And granted, like, if there's not, it's not like Keith is going to like, where's my host? Right.
Like, I can't do, you know, we've done shows without a co-host. I get it. But I think it adds a fun element. I think it's fun I think that a guest host wouldn't do it unless they think it's fun and exciting. I think it's going to be exciting for me to see the dynamic. You're also going to be booking guests. So it's not like, you know, it's going to be Keith and just a co-host. Not that that's not enough, but it's
Yeah.
going to be like on top of that also fun guests
Yeah.
that we're going to get. So
I'm really excited about some of the possible like
Right.
combinations
Right.
also, because we can't always book 2 guests on a show. First of all, because sometimes it can get rough with 4 people on the mic. That can be depending on the personalities in the room.
You kinda lose things.
So it opens up different
Mhm.
combinations and gives more opportunity for maybe to hear more from a guest that we really like that maybe we wouldn't normally be able to get, few and far between. Now you're going to have them for a week.
Right.
So
and if you don't like them, you're only having them for a week.
exactly.
But
there's still
we
Keith
saw the
and there's
least.
still the guests. And and also for Keith, like not that he can't handle it, but also for that long, it definitely like takes, some of the pressure off.
And let me tell you, and it it makes things a little bit more fun. Like nothing's something's missing me. What I forgot what I was going to say about the guest host, but
So they'll each have a week, and we'll be
I said like if you don't like them, they'll be gone in a week. But let me tell you something, and I know that this is like unbelievable, but we didn't pick anybody that pretty much the whole audience is enthusiastic about. Like we know that there's some people where we might like them a lot more than the audience, or they might
some
get
people are divisive and half the audience loves them and half the
Right.
audience hates them. Yeah.
These are people that you've been like more of this person, and that I've been like more of this person. I want to be here.
Yeah.
I want to set up like a hospital bed back there and just like, but I'm so scared to laugh because I know that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm going to have my friends over after this surgery. They only make me laugh. Get
Right.
the fuck out. I'm going to have to invite only boring people.
So take note if you're invited over to the house.
That's the thing. I started being like, well, who
Right.
who has like just tea with me or something? And then I'm like, no one. We're all fucking animals. I'm going to have to pop my
You
staples.
can feed back in. You can call in.
I will. If I am,
Yeah.
if I have my,
Right.
my,
Wits about you?
Yes.
Yes.
I will be witting in.
Mhm.
And we're gonna, my brother's done with the app. So beta is out now.
Yay.
And so I'll be able
Beta
to,
fan Android or for both?
for both.
Okay, great.
Android and iPhone. So if you want to be part of the beta, which means that you will be able to download the app and listen live and tell us what's missing, then go to the forums, keithandthegirl.com/forums, and you'll be able to test it out.
Oh, you can be in the chat too, because you can't usually like look at that during the show.
I don't know if chat features are in this.
Sorry, not on the app. I'm just saying
Oh,
for
okay.
you when
Oh, I'll
you're
be in the
home.
chat.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I already like if I really have my wits and the chat's gonna be my new best buddy. Like I will be there. Like, who wants to watch a movie, and we'll all watch a movie together.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, hell yes. Be my BFF.
Also, you can remember, #milk it. You can make whoever is over like watching you or whatever, just dictate. They can type it. You don't have to lift a literal finger.
Yeah. Watch me turn into an asshole.
Yeah.
It's not enough that Siri will dictate.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
you have to dictate. Thanks for coming. Get me
I
seltzer.
fully plan on getting you a bell too, so you don't have to shout across the house just in case.
I just made a face and shook my head, but maybe I'll need a bell. I don't know.
Exactly.
But who wants to answer to a bell? My goodness.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, you'll give it to me and then leave. It'll be fun, Hennessy.
Yeah.
Bye.
Enjoy. Bye. All right. So that is, so basically the show is in good hands. It's all with your blessing. It's all with your input.
No, LibbyPR.com. That's why the show is in good hands. LibbyPR.com. This is,
It's because you built a foundation of 11 years that we can now.
the baton.
We can now
Have another
quit
one.
trying to get me to cry again. That we can now all, springboard off of this incredible thing that you've built. All we're going to do is keep it safe for you while you're gone. It's going to be right here for you when you come back. It's going to be
my
there.
baby.
It's going to be there the entire time you're away. I'm so excited about what we have lined up. I know that you're going to at least enjoy it while you're gone, because these are literally you should see how excited she is about some of these possibilities. So,
So good. So good.
as always, to help me take care of Chemda's baby, make sure that she has, that It's here for her to come back to.
Yes.
Follow all of these guest hosts because you love them. You're probably following them anyways, but we want to support them and thank them for helping us with this. Also, please.
Here's what I want. I want a guest host to start with a certain number of Twitters. And by the end of that week, they go, holy fuck.
Of followers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just, you know what I mean? Just hit the follow button and we will be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes us look good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And also, thank you to them for coming in and doing this.
Yes.
And please share this if you think anyone is interested in this topic. I think we cover a wide range. And share, of course, keithandthegirl.com, KATG.com. You can just go look around. You don't have to, you don't have to commit to anything. keithandthegirl.com/VIP is where What's My Name normally lives. We're making these reverse What's My Name available to everyone so that people can keep up to date on Chemda's health information in case they're interested.
Yeah, see how much I milk it? Here's what you want to know. This one I'll give you for free.
Yeah.
This is what I should put behind the paywall.
Well, if you were insane. Like, people want to know, so we're making it as readily available as possible. But all of Chemda's What's My Names, the non-reverse, just the straight up, are on VIP, and those are all incredible. There's also there's so much VIP
reached a billion.
content. There's a billion VIP content. So just go to keithandthegirl.com, look around, tell a friend.
However you're listening to it, this is like one of the main things. Like if you're on iTunes has a share button. Yeah. That's really cool. Or, I really feel like an email to a friend sometimes is better than even like tweeting it, better, the same, do anything.
Yeah.
Sharing the episode really means a lot to me. Of course, I'm on social media. Send me a heart.
And if you like the guests and the guest hosts too, like include them because a lot of times, especially if it's someone like hard to get, like just because of scheduling or whatever, if they see like how many people love them, they'll probably make time, Yeah,
they'll see. When that happens, people who come to New York for just 2 days make it a point to come here. If you guys have a response, we become part of people's tours. We become part of people's press junkets. That it makes them have a reason to come over because time is limited for everybody. Yeah. So let's be friends with everybody.
Yeah. Let's support the people who are supporting us. And thank you so much for everyone who has been so supportive. I love seeing it. We're done with the episode clearly because Chemda is lighting up. So.
She doesn't let me smoke.
So we're going to have to end it here. And please share Keith and the Girl and stay tuned.
Stay high.
What's my name show.com